Good evening. Welcome to the March 7th meeting of the Glendale City Council. Roll call, please.
Council members Garpetian.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Sinanian.
Here.
Mayor Devine.
Here. Next item.
Next item is the flag salute, which will be led by Councilmember Sinanian, followed by the invocation, which will be delivered by Pastor Jaime Heras, pastor of the Glendale Spanish Seventh-day Adventist Church. Please rise.
Please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation.
Please bow your heads as we pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love shown to us by giving us the opportunity to be alive with strength and the willingness to serve. I ask for a special blessing for the mayor, the members of the city council, and the members of our community present here. In your precious name we ask. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Next item, please.
Mayor, the agenda for the March 7th, 2017 regular meeting of the Glendale City Council was posted on Thursday, March 2nd, 2017 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. Under presentation and appointments at 3A is agenda preview for the meetings of Tuesday, March 14th, 2017.
Spears.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, for the Glendale Housing Authority for March 14th, we have no business agenda items. We do have a joint meeting of the Glendale City Council and the Glendale Economic Development Corporation to commence at 3 p.m. Director of Community Development, this is regarding the Glendale Arts fiscal year 2016-17 first and second quarter reports and financial statements. That evening for the Glendale City Council meeting to commence at 6 p.m., we have a number of consent items. Director of Public Works, this is setting a public hearing for the vacation of a portion of Montrose Avenue, northwesterly of La Crescenta Avenue, and this is vacation case 182V. General Manager of Glendale Water and Power, this is regarding water service interconnection agreement between the City of Glendale, Valley Water Company, and the Foothill Municipal Water District. Also, General Manager of Glendale Water and Power, various tanks rehab project in connection with spec number 3626. Director of Public Works, this is approval of the final map for a 16-unit condominium conversion subdivision at 3138 Montrose Avenue. For Director of Public Works, we have a number of items, fiscal year 2016-17 slurry and Cape Seal program. Also Public Works, Ocean View Boulevard rehab project. Director of Community Development and Public Works, the Metro 2015 call for broad projects. General Manager of Glendale Water and Power, we have the Smart Customer Mobile and Portal Platform. General Manager of Glendale Water and Power, professional services agreement with West Monroe Partners for GWP customer service operation. And lastly, on consent, Director of Library, this is regarding acceptance of grant funds for the California Library Literacy and English Acquisition Services Program grant and the Adult Education Block Grant. We have two items under action. Director of Public Works, this is regarding the Arroyo Verdugo cities. General Manager of Glendale Water and Power, and this is regarding crane rental services. And we have one item under hearings, Director of Community Development. This is regarding the suspension of activities and levy assessments within the Adams Square Business Improvement District. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next item.
3B is Mayor's commendation to Hoover High School's marching band.
Okay, and we have a lot of members of that band. Congratulations. This is your second consecutive state championship. Fantastic. Thank you. And who is representing the band? And I just want to say a couple of words. And I said this last year, I believe, and you'll probably remember, and please forgive me if I'm redundant. But when I was teaching back in the day, and I had the job or the pleasure of having the drill team and the flag girls and all of that. And we used to compete, and I certainly do appreciate what an accomplishment this is, because it is huge, and I know how much hard work goes into this, and I congratulate all of you. Did you want to step up and talk a little bit about your students?
Sure. My name's Martin Reese, and I'm the Director of Instrumental Music at Herbert Hoover High School. This is my 8th year there, and boy, it's hard to believe it's gone by that quickly. You know, the days are long, but the years are short, as it turns out. And for the students to be able to be recognized by our city reinforces a lesson that we try to teach, in that we gladly accept the responsibility to represent our school and our city when we travel. And although the state championship is a wonderful thing, and I'd be lying to you if I said that was not important, we're very competitive, the lessons that we teach through music and marching band have to do with hard work, delayed gratification, that they are consistently recognized not just for being competitive within their arena, but the more important time that they spend outside of the white lines, where people see who they really are. And I receive commentary from the very top of our activity, writes letters to me and says, I watch this band, and I watch what they do, and I see what kind of people they are, and I've never seen a finer group of students. So that's my biggest joy in having taken this position.
Well, congratulations. That's a testament to you, Mr. Reese, and of course to the parents of all of these wonderful students that we have here in front of me. I had hoped that we were going to get a sampling of your musical prowess, or your at least I wanted to hear your cadence. I used to love the cadence, and I kind of wanted to hear that, but I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, if you go to hooverband.net, you can get all you want.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to do that. So let me read the commendation, and then we have something for all the band members and for you. To the presented to Hoover Tornado Marching Band, congratulations on winning the 2016 Division 3A Championship of the California State Band Championships. I commend your school's passion, hard work, and dedication in preparing for the tournament. I thank you for representing Glendale and for serving as a shining example of all of us. On behalf of the City of Glendale, I wish you continued success on all of your future events. Is there going to be a three-peat?
We're going to work on it, that's for sure.
Okay, all right, okay. So we're going to all come down and present you with pins and the commendation. Make sure everybody gets it. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
You want us to turn around, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Very sorry.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's for you. And we have pins for all the kids. Yeah, go ahead. Just hang up for me. Should they all get one? Did you get one? Oh,
No, not for this election. We're not a vote.
Keep the meeting going fast. I think there might be a polling place right by the YMCA, the First Presbyterian or something. I'll find out what the closest one is. You should just pop into any one and vote provisionally because it's the same thing on the ballot everywhere.
Okay. Someone needs them.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think they want to go.
I know.
Yeah, the First Baptist Church in right catty corner from YMCA. 209 North Louise.
It's a big group. I think they said they had 150 members. Okay, as they proceed to march out, I believe they have like 150 members to this band, so it's pretty large. Okay, they're moving out pretty quietly. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next.
Next item, Madam Mayor, is Mayor's commendation to Public Works Arborist Technician Jeremy Kahn and Community Development Code Compliance Inspector Ernest Jimenez.
Okay. Thank you. I take great pleasure in presenting these two commendations because our employees are receiving them because of emails that I received from our residents and complimenting these two gentlemen for the work that they do. Just two employees that, again, make us proud that to have you working in the city, to have you out there with our residents, knowing that you're doing a great job, and also for you to know that our residents appreciate you and we appreciate you. So first is Jeremy and
Ernest Jimenez.
Ernest, are you going to, but these are the two. I thought, are the department heads going to give us a kind of a resume, or are we just going to let them? Okay. Jeremy, I received your email because of all the work you do as one of our arborists. Correct?
Correct.
Yes. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. I'm from Chicago originally. I got a degree in forestry from Southern Illinois University. I worked out west for the Forest Service for about 12 years, and then I started my career in urban forestry in New York City, in Brooklyn. And then I moved out here with my wife a few years ago, and I've worked in Claremont and then finally in Glendale.
Fabulous. Wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you do, and as I say, we do appreciate it. So in recognition, this is for Jeremy Kahn. In recognition of your outstanding work and dedication in assisting members of our community, I commend your passion and aspiration to go beyond the call of duty in order to protect the safety of our residents. I thank you for serving as a shining example to all. On behalf of the City of Glendale, I wish you continued success. And Jeremy's in Public Works, correct? Yes. Okay, thank you. And Ernest, your email came from one of the residents on the other side of the city. What?
Horse overlay area.
Pardon?
The horse overlay area.
That's correct, the horse overlay. And she was very complimentary on your personality, your ability to work with her and the other residents. And so we thank you for doing that. You are in community development as a code compliance inspector. Would you like to say a few words about yourself or the job that you do?
Well, it's just a pleasure working for the City of Glendale, well, the community of City of Glendale, and thank you for this. I appreciate it, and Phil, it's just, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you. In recognition, Ernest Jimenez, for your outstanding work and dedication to assisting members of our community, I commend you for your passion and aspiration to go beyond the call of duty in order to protect the safety of our residents. I thank you for serving as a shining example to all, and on behalf of the City of Glendale, I wish you continued success. Thank you. Great, thank you. It's great. We always talk about our staff and our employees and how great they are, and it's just nice for us to be able to get information from our residents that confirms what we believe to be true. So thank you all. And that goes for all of our employees and our staff. Next item.
Next item is item D, Glendale Healthier Community Coalition presentation.
Mayor Devine, council members, Mr. Ochoa, we're pleased to be here this evening to follow up with our Glendale's We Own the Health of Our Community project, and to express appreciation to the city for its continued leadership in this respect as well. With me are the two co-chairs. I'm Bruce Nelson. I said that, didn't I? So let me just have them introduce themselves as well.
All right, Lisa, sorry. Okay, I'm Edna Karinsky. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Foundation of the Verdugos, and I'm serving as co-chair on this initiative.
Lisa Raggio, serving as Executive Director of Wellness Works Glendale, and very happy to be here tonight to talk about this.
Great. And let me also point out our project director, that's Carrie Nelson, right here, if you'd stand, please. And a couple of other members of our team as well are here tonight. So at any rate, we have a great pleasure to catch you up, update you on what's been happening over the course of the last year since we began this project. And you'll recall, since you were a speaker at that last event, just about a year ago. Since then, we've been engaging about 100 community leaders in this project. So just as a quick overview, we'd like to start off with a video that's already ready to show. So let's start with this, and then we'll move on to our...
There is a huge and profound healthcare problem in our community, and it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And believe it or not, Glendale Adventist and the in our community together can't fix it by ourselves. It's going to take a collective effort for all of us to own the health of our community.
Throughout the district, our healthcare workers are using snack and lunch periods to monitor more and more students for diabetes. And we're finding out that it's showing up at an earlier age. What we're seeing is a tsunami of risk for our students in the area of obesity and diabetes. It's currently in our elementary schools, our middle schools, and high schools. We suspect that over the next 10 years, it's going to swamp the business community as well.
The problem of obesity and diabetes is significant for Glendale's business community. They have so much at stake. Businesses can't just stand by. They need to be part of the solution.
And don't forget, these same diseases affect the programs in Glendale's nonprofit community.
You're talking about the service organizations.
Absolutely, such as the YMCA, the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army.
So what are they doing about it?
Well, actually a lot. In fact, the YMCA recently made fitness as its national goal.
Don't overlook the enormous cost in the healthcare system, particularly the long-term impact of diabetes. It's devastating on the individual, and it's also going to affect their insurance premiums.
Again, businesses are really going to feel that.
What's the role of city leadership in community health?
Well, we think we have a big role to play. We are collaborating with all of our stakeholders in the community, especially the school districts. So, for example, we are removing all of the non-nutritious snacks from the vending machines in schools and parks. I mean, at this point, you can't even get a sports energy drink.
It's a great start. What do you plan next?
Well, it's a call to action. It's reaching out to every business and every organization to try to get everyone involved in this struggle. We need your help to own the health of our community.
Here are the next steps that your organization can take. First, your governing board or leadership group needs to establish a goal that clearly states our organization fully supports we own the health of our community. As part of this step, you will need to designate one responsible contact person. Second, encourage participation by all your employees or members in a diabetes risk survey. This simple questionnaire consists of 7 easy questions that can be completed in about a minute. You can find the risk survey on the diabetes.org website. Third, we want you to join us as part of 100 organizations that will take part in our charter signing ceremony. Together, we can do what no organization can do by themselves. We can own the health of our community.
So that charter signing ceremony is coming up on April 6th. And so we're going to just say a little bit about that. Now we're focusing on diabetes. Diabetes was the top rated risk identified in our comprehensive community health needs assessment, which was developed in 2016 by our 3 hospitals here in the community and lots of other community leaders. However, it's not the only need that our community experiences. We're moving on from here in our next wave to address things like homelessness, mental health, and substance abuse. We can see that those fit together in a cluster. So there's other issues in our community that we really need to address collectively. And so this is a methodology or mechanism for rallying support from the community to do just exactly that. Edna is going to elaborate a bit on that too. So
I'll elaborate just a bit more, but this is an exciting collaborative, I should say. I look at it, health doesn't just start and stop, it becomes something that we have to embrace in our own life. In fact, I think it's going to be putting me kind of to the steps. I'm going to be, looking forward to getting much more healthier than I am right now. But we're looking at business leaders to be involved. Judy Kendall, the CEO of Glendale Chamber. She'll be involved. We have the CEOs from the hospitals and those businesses and organizations and people from the community that take part. They'll be embraced during this ceremony, and they'll all be recognized, and we'll all be, inclusively together in this. So it's really an exciting initiative, and I'm going to turn the time over now to Lisa, and she can tell you more about the whole collective impact.
Thank you. In 2011, the Stanford Innovation Review published reports on communities, not a lot, but there were a few throughout the country that were working on collective impact initiatives. And that's a broad sector of backgrounds that have identified something in the community, and those leaders representing the business and nonprofit and public sector decide to come together and abandon what it is that is their primary agenda, and instead of working from an isolated point of view, they work from a collective point of view. And I think those of us who started to research this a few years back recognize that this community is rich in its resources, and the leaders that we identified that so immerse themselves in looking at how they can improve the quality of life for our residents, we identified this as really being a community in which that this could take flight, it could be implemented, it could be executed. And we look at this as leading the way in what we first address as far as diabetes, but what we hope that we can do to inspire other communities to really be driven collectively and make an impact in that direction and move forward. So we're excited, we're delighted that our city manager, I know, will be overseeing and a part of that event, as well as I think Tom Lorenz. And so we're so happy that they can participate. And I think, Scott, maybe next year will be up for an Academy Award, perhaps, because of based upon this. Who knows, in the 2018 Oscar series. But we're delighted, and we're inviting all of you to participate. We passed these invitations out, but it will happen on April 6th at our historic Glendale Arts, Glendale Alex Theater, and 5:30 to 7:30. It's going to be a great event. We hope that every single one of you up here are there and supporting this cause. Again, it's the first of many events and collective impact initiatives that we embark upon so that we can come together as a community and make an impact and a great positive change for good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate all the work that I know must have gone into this this initiative, this study, and we are very lucky here in Glendale, aren't we, that we have 3 hospitals at our convenience that are excellent facilities, and we're also lucky to have city leaders who are willing to step up, Scott, step up and help out with this and be involved. Anyone else like to make a comment? I'll be there on April 6th. I'm sure my colleagues will be there as well. And we thank you very much for this.
I will say that the charter is going to be 4 feet wide and 6 feet tall. So there'll be room for signatures.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you. And next item.
Next item are the consent items, including minutes following a routine and may be acted upon by one motion. Any member of council or the audience requesting separate consideration may do so by making such request before a motion is proposed.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull item 4B, please. 4B1.
Okay. Do I have a motion on 4A?
So I'll move. Second.
Okay. Do we need roll call?
Yes. Council members Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine?
Yes. And can you read item 4B?
4B is Director of Community Services and Parks regarding transportation services related to youth programming. B1 is a motion authorizing to increase the purchase order with 4 Winds Day Camp, Inc. By $131,000 for a total amount not to exceed $180,000.
Mr. Sinania?
Who am I looking at? Either you or...
Sure.
Yeah. So it's 2 components to this, right? One is additional funds for this fiscal year, and then the other one is for the next year? Is that what's going on?
We are trying to increase it. It's a purchase order that was solicited by way of an RFQ, and so we are looking for a not-to-exceed number for the remainder of the term, which would be June 30th of 2018, so the coming fiscal year. Yes, short answer is yes.
I'm sorry. It seems to be divided into two distinct parts. One is $29,000, and the other is $102,000. The $29,000 is for the contract for the services to be provided through the end of this fiscal year, 2007. June 30th, 2017. But then the $102 million is for the next fiscal year.
Correct.
It is
going through for June 30th, 2018.
So I just want to understand can you talk about the RFQ and why we're sticking with the same company for the next year without doing a separate one?
Yes, Mayor Devine, members of the council. Last year, when we were right before One Glendale program started, we RFQ'd. We sent out requests for qualifications to 5 transportation companies, and Four Winds came in as the lowest bidder. We did have 4 companies respond, and Four Winds did come in lowest, and the RFQ for purchasing is good till 2018.
Okay, so the RFQ was actually through the end of 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. Great program, worthy cause, and I'll move the item unless my colleagues have questions.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Garpetian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Sinanian,
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. Next item,
Next
please.
item is City Council and staff comments.
Okay, I would like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to lead this off tonight. I'd like to adjourn the meeting in honor of a longtime Glendale resident and former Parks and Recreation Director, James Bishop, who passed away on February 28th at the age of 95. James Bishop had a long career with the City of Glendale. In 1949, he joined what at the time was known as the Parks and Recreation Department as a sports supervisor. 4 years later, at the age of 31, he became Glendale's Recreation Director. Finally, in 1970, he was appointed by City Manager C.E. Perkins and approved by City Council as the new Director of Parks and Recreation. James served in this role until 1977, when he left the City of Glendale to become Vice President of Glendale Federal Savings. James saw the importance of green spaces, recreation, and athletics to the vibrancy and quality of life in our communities. Before coming to the City of Glendale, he was the first Recreation Director for the City of Linwood and was Sports Supervisor for the City of Compton. During World War II, he served in the Navy as a Chief Athletic Specialist. His love for Glendale was not only confined to his work with the city, but also to his activities outside of work. He was an avid member of the Glendale Kiwanis Club, Vice President of Glendale Beautiful, and was on the Salvation Army Board of Directors. He was preceded in death by his wife, Mary Bishop, who passed away on October 22, 1999, at the age of 77. Although James Bishop has left us, we remember him fondly for his hard work, his dedication, and passion for the Glendale community. And so we will adjourn tonight in his memory. Thank you. Mr. Garpetian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended Montrose Shopping Park Association's meeting last week, and there are a few questions they had, and I want to run it by the city manager and staff. One was the 2020 vision plan that we had. I think they had a presentation, and they were wondering what's going on with that, so we can follow up on that with them. Also, they were very appreciative of the city and what they did with the parking lots as well as their the trash cans. I mean, it's very clean now. The trash is not outside. The only thing they were asking was some of these dumpsters that are really large and tall, when you open the lid, if you have 2 bags in your hand, you can't keep the lid open. Some of them have this little rod that holds the lid up. If you can look into it, if you can accommodate them on that. Also, the landscaping, I mentioned this before. I think we need to pay a little bit more attention to the landscaping on Montrose, on Honolulu, and maybe add some more greenery, some more grass into some of the small areas that needs to be taken care of. Also, there is a large tenant that's going to move out. I'm not going to mention who it is. There is a tenant that's going to be moving out, and if we can look into maybe talking to Bob's Big Boy, if they they have an interest to come to Glendale, this would be a perfect location for it.
I think one of them requested Chipotle. No. I'm kidding. I was at that meeting.
Restaurant.
I was at that meeting and they did not request Chipotle.
Yeah. And also, I want to know when is the proper time to talk about fees. I'm getting a lot of calls about not just the design review fees, the initial fees, also for the fees that they have to pay if they get return for redesign, basically. They have to pay the entire $5,000 or $5,500. I'd like to know when is it?
May.
May? Okay. And also, I mentioned a few weeks back about the jobs the contracts that we award and the 25% of the contracts to go to the local contractors and developers and all the service providers. I want to know where that is. When is it coming back? How are we going to? When are we going to discuss about that issue as well? That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Sinani?
So I went to the same meeting and ditto what he said. Today we celebrated Arbor Day by Glendale Beautiful. It was a very fun and joyous occasion. The weather was impeccable for the first time in a long time. It was a perfect day. And a lot of trees were donated to the city of Glendale. So I want to thank the organizers. I see Sharon Wiseman back there, Bill's there. I think Linda's part of Glendale Beautiful, aren't you? Yes, you are. And, of course, our Parks Department for working so closely with our people to beautify our city and make it green and make our trees grow and prosper. So thank you for that. One issue that we talked about last week, but I'm going to raise again because the issue seems to be intensifying and becoming uglier and uglier. We talked about the fact that Glendale is instructed, I think its police department, not to enforce any ICE actions in Glendale and not to participate in that in any manner. And I think that video of the family that went to school, the dad taking the child to school and being arrested on the spot went viral. We all saw that. We all saw how traumatic that can be. Just this Sunday, I was approached at an event by a young man who said, I have a hearing on Monday, and I'm told that the moment I show up, I'm going to be arrested as an illegal and be deported. He had an immigration hearing. So anyway, this is all around us. It's happening. It's real. And I know we have our police know what to do, but I read a very troubling article in Pasadena whereby their police had entered some kind of an agreement with ICE a long time ago, and police chief had signed it, but city manager wasn't aware of it, council was not aware of it, and finally they found out, fortunately, before any damage was done. And Pasadena, I think, is going to adopt a rule where any agreement of cooperation between immigration bodies, federal bodies, and local police will have to come to council for approval. I think we should, if I can get support from one of my colleagues to bring this issue to us and discuss it, perhaps.
I support that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Karpetian. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Najarian?
No.
No? Okay, I'd just like to, first of all, many of us attended the ribbon cutting for the Antaeus Theater, which is located on Broadway. And I just want to let everyone know that they're going to have preview nights starting March 16th for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. It's live theater. It's going to be fabulous. And the tickets for that are only $15. On March 23rd and 24th, those are the opening nights. Tickets are $30 and $35. So it's very reasonable. Theater is small. It's very intimate theater, but would certainly be a wonderful night out for anyone that's watching and that loves theater. The second item I want to bring up is in light of, and this kind of goes along with what Mr. Sinanian was saying, in light of the climate in our country and in cities across America, the U.S., concerning violence and intolerance, I want Glendalians to know that I recently signed onto a campaign called The Mayors Against LGBT Discrimination. We believe, those of us that signed it, the mayors, that no one should face discrimination. But to me, the campaign signified more than that. It was a pledge to me to uphold not just anti-discrimination or anti-bullying, but it also is a way of encouraging tolerance to everyone in our community, regardless of their race, of their religion, their ethnic background, or their gender. And I hope that every resident in our city will support these ideals in this time. I open it to any of my council members that would like to, Mr. Sinanian.
I'll happily join in that declaration, I guess. Is that what it would be?
Mm-hmm.
And state unequivocally that discrimination has no place in the city of Glendale. It doesn't. It's not going to be tolerated by the mayor, this council member, I believe the entire council. And we will make sure and take every necessary step to make sure that that is the case. And I like the fact that it's symbolic that this declaration is specifically for discrimination against LGBT, but it's symbolic for all groups, all individuals, and our commitment to an open, tolerant, really tolerant society we want to live in Glendale.
Thank you. Anyone else?
We might want to do it in terms of a resolution, adopting a resolution.
I think that's a good
copying
idea.
the language, and that may be a better.
Yeah, I'd love
All
to.
right.
I'll move that item if that's.
Great. We shall do that.
Bring it back in
Bring it
form of
back
a resolution. That'd be
next
great.
week. Okay. Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item on the agenda is community event announcements. There were no cards. There are one?
I have no cards.
No, we have no cards either, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
So following that, there were no cards, we believe, for the 3-minute general public comment period as well, so unless there were cards submitted to you.
None.
The next item would be adoption of ordinances. At 7A is interim ordinance extending ordinance number 5896 to establish standards and ministerial process for approving accessory dwelling units for a period of 10 months and 15 days, introduced by Councilmember Sinanian on February 20th, 2017.
Okay. Do I have a motion for that ordinance?
I'll move the item.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine?
Yes.
B
Next
is
item?
B is an urgency ordinance reauthorizing the city's public educational and governmental access support fee. This was introduced by Councilmember Garpetian on February 28th, 2017.
I'll move the item.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilmembers Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine?
Yes. Next item?
Under action items, 8A is Director of Community Services and Parks regarding environmental impact report for the Wilson Middle School multipurpose field project. At 8A1 is a motion authorizing an agreement with Placeworks Inc. in the amount of $127,784 plus a 10% contingency of $12,778.40. Yeah, we're bringing it.
Okay. Mr.
For the
Ochoa?
Controller?
Or is it Onig? Are you doing this one?
You know what? You can use
Okay.
is the mouse up there? The other mouse? No, it's not? Okay. Then use
I'm
this.
distracted.
Good evening, Mayor Devine, members of the council. Back in March of 2016, council approved a $16 million DIF strategic plan, which included 2 soccer fields in partnership with Glendale Unified. Staff did identify 2 sites, one being Wilson Middle School and one being Columbus Elementary. In November of last year, we held a community meeting at Wilson Middle School and talked about our proposed project, and we received some positive feedback. So that's why we're here tonight, is to issue an RFP, issue a contract for an EIR. The proposed project is to construct a U14 size soccer field and a practice field with a running track at Wilson Middle School. The blue area on top of the plan and below the plan are GUSD will be installing solar panels. So that's a GUSD project, but our project is mainly the soccer field and the running track and a smaller storage for grooming equipment and the men's and women's restroom. So we will include a U14 soccer field, multi-purpose field, one smaller practice field, a jogging track, sports field lighting, security fencing, men's and women's restroom, and grooming equipment storage area. And we will use the additional on-site parking the existing on-site parking that GUSD will provide for us. The LED light spill control will, with technology today, the LEDs that we use with Musco lighting directly will face the field itself, which will reduce the light pollution around the neighborhood. That would be an added component to the project itself. The proposed programming, we would be using the field Monday through Friday. The city would be using the field Monday through Friday between 4 and 6 for community drop and play. And then 6 to 10, we'll have our youth leagues and adult leagues use the facility. Saturdays and Sundays, we'll use the facility 8 o'clock till 10. And the jogging track will be open for drop-in when we have the facility in our hands. The proposed schedule, once after tonight, we'll go ahead and work with the consultant on the EIR. That should take hopefully 9 to 12 months. The design phase should take about 6 months, and bidding construction should take 9 months. Hopefully the project, if all goes well, the project should be completed by June of 2019. And part of the plan is we had 8 consultants. We sent out the request for proposals to 8 consultants. 4 of them responded. Staff is picking place work because they have a lot of experience working with schools and school site specific projects and sport fields. So that's why we're comfortable with using place work as our consultant to work on the EIR. Any questions regarding this project?
I have a question
Sure.
about the solar panels. Is that a safe location for those, or is that an advisable location there on the side of that, running along the side of that field?
Yeah, the solar panels, that area was picked by GUSD and the board, but that's a GUSD project, but I wanted to include it in this concept plan so we're well aware of the field of play, that it won't be getting in our way of the project.
Is there going to be like a fence or something there to protect it? Or, I mean, I'm thinking of like
The solar
kids
panels
smashing into it, or kids.
Basically,
or
it's a shade structure, and
Like
on top
that
of this, on top of the shade, on top of the shade structure, you'll have the solar panels.
Okay.
Something similar to what they have at Glendale High School.
Questions? Bartan? Garfedian?
Yes, everybody knows where my passion is, and I'm really happy that this project is moving forward. The solar panels is going to provide much needed shade area for parents who come in and watch their kids play, or even community members who use this as a park. It would create a great shade area for it. I want to thank my colleagues for supporting the soccer fields because they're very much needed in our community, and I hope we can get this thing done sooner than later. So I know, and I want to thank Mr. Blanikian and everybody on staff and everyone else because he really pushed for this thing and made it happen. So everybody. So I want to show how much I appreciate your efforts. So thank you, Mr. Madam Mayor.
Yeah, one thing, when we talked to Placeworks, they also said they'll expedite the ER. We want them to do the job correctly and basically see if there's any environmental impacts such as noise, light, traffic congestion, and so on. But they said they will get it done in between 9 and 12 months.
Councilmember Sinanian?
Yeah, this project is much welcome news for Glendale, and it's been long in coming. I want to congratulate park staff, Mr. Blanikian, the city, the schools, the parents, and we can't make this come true fast enough. because everyone knows we need as much park space as possible, and we don't have the funds, nor do we have the space to create it other than through cooperation with the schools. Now, the question I have is, so how is the funding of all this going to be split between, or is it between us and the
This
school?
project is funded by DIF. We have $5,050,000, well, $5,043,000 now. We have $5 million allocated through DIF.
The school provides the space, and we
School
provide
will
the field.
provide the space. While the project is being constructed, we'll work with Glendale Unified on a joint use agreement, similar to what we have at Pacific Community Center,
which has
Pacific
worked
Edison.
amazingly, right?
So,
it's one of those fields that's totally overused in the best sense of the word. And once it's completed, it's going to be a similar arrangement in terms of maintenance. And
Yes, we'll have
there's the responsibility.
It was similar, maintaining artificial turf field. There's really low maintenance. We have to groom it once every couple of weeks, and then we'll have a contract with the manufacturer for them to come in and groom the field.
So remember, this council met with Glendale Unified School Board about a year ago, year and a half ago.
After over 10 years.
After, well,
February 2016,
right,
I believe.
and
was
we
our meeting.
specifically talked about this intense cooperation between the schools and the city school board and the city council in order to create, almost out of nowhere, right, green space for the city of Glendale. And here it is happening. Yeah, congratulations to all of us and to Glendale Unified School District as well and its board.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about the board too much. But
No, its credit is deserved where it's due. So.
Councilmember Najarian?
So I think this is great. It's great news. And as a former AYSO coach and parent, I know how much demand there is on these soccer fields, and I know that we could fill this field up with AYSO teams from dawn to dusk. But are we going to strike a balance between AYSO and some other leagues? There's a great the Levo Nistoyan League and other youth soccer leagues. We're going to let everyone have a chance at these.
We're going to balance the programming.
As well as adults. There are some active adults out there who are very passionate about the sport as well. So please try and be judicious as you issue the permits and the time slots for all that. This is for everyone, and we want everyone to get as much enjoyment out of it.
Are there fees attached to that?
Eventually, we'll bring fees to the Parks Commission. We'll have fees similar to the sports complex.
So can I ask a quick question about that? So even, for example, if we look at Pacific Edison, the fees are, we still heavily subsidize the field, right? The fees don't really cover our maintenance costs, or does it?
Fees, it depends on what facility.
Okay.
At sports complex, the fees that we charge do cover the maintenance and operations costs. At Pacific, they don't.
They don't. So I assume, yeah, with a school facility, they won't. And again, that shows our commitment to our children and to green space and cooperation with schools.
Great project. Great project. Okay, do we have a motion?
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Council members Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. Thank you. Next item.
Next item is Director of Community Services and Parks regarding environmental impact report request for proposals for the Cerritos Elementary School multipurpose field project. B1 is resolution adopting request for proposal and directing staff to solicit bids. 2, resolution of appropriation to transfer $3,439,200 in developmental impact fees funds from Columbus Elementary School multipurpose field project to Cerritos Elementary School multipurpose field project.
Thank you, Mayor Devine, members of the council. As I mentioned earlier, that we did identify 2 sites for multi-use fields, one being Wilson and one being Columbus. Staff held a meeting at Columbus Elementary back in September, and we did hear some concerns regarding traffic, noise pollution, use of the field at night, basically affecting quality of life in that area, and we were directed to work with Glendale Unified staff to identify another site. So Basically, after visiting a couple of the elementary schools, staff, Glendale Unified staff and CSP staff identified Cerritos Elementary. We met with Cerritos staff back in January, gave them the information and our proposal. They were very happy with our proposed project, and we would like to move forward and issue an RFP to our EIR consultants that we have on our as-needed list. With that going forward, I would like to review the proposed project. We're proposing a U12 soccer field on at Cerritos Elementary. We have to move some items around, amenities around currently that are there, moving the basketball courts, the volleyball courts, the handball courts, hopscotch and Foursquare. We're not taking away anything. Basically, we're adding a brand new artificial turf soccer field and also a running track similar to what we have at Wilson Middle School. We'll have the U12 artificial track, artificial turf soccer field, sports field lighting, jogging track, security fencing. We'll also build a men's and women's restroom. We will tear down the current restroom at Cerritos Park, build something bigger to fit the needs of nighttime use and use of both the soccer field and the park itself. Also, we'll build a storage area for the grooming equipment and maintenance and use existing on-site parking. We'll have similar LED lights from Musco Lighting, and proposed city programming would be similar to what we're proposing at Wilson Wilson Middle School. Monday through Friday, 4 to 5. I put 4 to 5 now because the school would like to use the facility till 5. After 5, then we can use it. There's going to be some days that they're going to have their school carnivals and school get-togethers, and I mentioned to them that that'll be part of the joint use agreement, and we can permit them as much as they want to use the field. We'll have the field available for community open play, and also our One Glendale after-school program. Cerritos Elementary is a school site, and that'll be a good addition, having the soccer field there. We can have multi-purpose field there. I'm sorry. We can have our game days there, just as we do at Pacific Community Center. And then the facility also will be available Monday through Friday, 5 to 10 for youth and adult leagues, and then Saturdays and Sundays, 8 o'clock till 10. Like Wilson, we'll have the running track available when the facility is open to the public. The EIR for this, hopefully we'll get the EIR started in May. It'll last 9 to 12 months, and the design will last 6 months, bidding construction another 9 months. Hopefully we'll have the project completed by July 2019. We are requesting the issuance of an RFP and also requesting to reprogram the funds from Columbus Elementary to Cerritos Elementary multi-use soccer field project.
Questions, comments?
Again, I think I'd just gotten elected. We went and visited, I think it was during the park opening, and we talked about the field to joint use and create green space out of almost nothing. And we've done it. I'm very proud of the city. I'm very proud of parks. So I'll move the item.
Well, I had a question. Did anybody else have a comment? I have a question.
Go ahead and ask your question, then I'll make my comments.
Do you want to ask a question?
No, it's okay. I'll make my comment later.
Oh, okay. The jogging track or walking, that's circumventing the soccer field, is that right, on the drawing?
Yeah, it's going to be square shaped, though. Due to
Yes.
limited space of the facility, it'll be square shaped at Cerritos.
Now, there's a huge difference in the cost of this park or this field, this project than the last project. Is that because of any particular more grading, what is...
At Wilson, there's more grading, and I know at part of the Part of the estimate was new parking lot at Wilson, but we don't have room for a new parking lot because the school would like to expand their program. So we're leaving the parking lot out. But the amount would be similar, but since Wilson is a larger field and we're having two fields, it's a little bit more expensive.
Oh, okay. So the $3 million that you're talking about here is for both of the field?
No.
You're talking about transferring $3 million.
That's from Columbus to Cerritos.
Right.
It's from Columbus to Cerritos, $3 million.
Right, but is that the cost of the Cerritos Park? The
Yes.
Cerritos project is $3 million.
Yes.
The cost of the Wilson was 127, wasn't it?
No, that's the EIR was 127.
Oh, just the EIRs.
Just
What's the
EIR,
cost?
yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
The
then.
Wilson cost is $5 million 50.
Boy, I really missed that. Okay, all right. The one comment, I'm really happy about both of these projects and proposed fields. But the one thing I wanted to say about the Cerritos project is the fact that this is proof that community outreach works, because we went to that meeting at Columbus,
yes.
listened to the neighbors and to the residents, and did exactly what they asked us to do, to look elsewhere. We found it, and this group of residents and those that live around Cerritos are okay with this, and I think that speaks well to our outreach that we do in the city. So I commend you for that. Mr. Garpetian?
Yeah, I just wanted to also mention that Wilson is a U14, plus it has a practice field.
Yes.
And it's much larger site. And this is what I've been talking about. I mean, if you build something, it has to be usable. U10 fields are cool, but they're not for teenagers. The U10s are very small, and this is a U14 in Wilson and U12 at Cerritos. And these are the type of projects that students use during the day, and then community can use it after the school is out. So it's a win-win situation, and I want to also thank the Glendale Unified School District for working with us, because this is their land, and they're taking a risk as well, and this is a good cooperation and collaboration between the two entities. That there is no difference between these two governments, and we serve the same constituents, we serve the same students, same kids that go to schools in Cerritos and Wilson. They're going to use these fields in the evenings. So I want to thank you again for doing a great job, and also the city and my colleagues as well, because I really was beating the drum on these two projects, and I was calling my manager every other day. I said, what happened to our EIR? And says, it's coming, and finally it's here. So I want to thank you, and hopefully get this done, and we can, maybe the council can play against the administration, a friendly soccer game.
Oh, let's not go over it.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance.
And I'll be the referee. Thank you.
I'll be the water boy.
Okay.
Call Coco. He wants to be the center forward.
Thank you. Great projects. Do I have a motion on this item? Oh, and and I just want to add that I have talked to Dr. Roberson, Winifred, and trying to get another meeting of council and the school board for this year, so that we can work on future projects. So I'm hoping that he'll contact you or vice versa. But I'm trying to put that into motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a motion for the item.
So I'll move the.
I made the motion.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Second. Roll call.
Council members Garpetian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Sinanian,
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes.
And Mayor Devine,
Yes.
you mentioned about that meeting,
Yes.
and you raised, I don't know if you got your second for that meeting, but I also want to suggest that we talk about their swimming pool, which they had to cut back due to funding issues. That may also be an opportunity for us to have some cooperation
Okay.
when we set the agenda for that
We'll
meeting.
put that on the
Everyone has
notes.
priorities.
That's right. Well, that's what keeps the city moving forward. Next item, please.
Next item at 8C is General Manager of Glendale Water and Power regarding water conservation and education program. C1 is a motion authorizing a 39-month agreement with Water Smart Software, Inc. for a not to exceed amount of $362,000.
Mr. Ochoa, Mr. Zarate.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, this is essentially a second 3-year agreement with WaterSmart to continue what we started with our single-family homes and extend this out to multifamily and commercial businesses. And this is a combination package that allows us to promote conservation through regular mailings or emails, depending on the customer's choice, on what their progress is in their water usage over time. And it's probably the area that, if any, you've heard about, because there's a great deal of competition amongst our residents. And I will often get calls about, not that they don't like the program, but they simply don't believe that they aren't better than what the paper says. So I think that level of competition is healthy. But it also provides us with the web portal and the app for your phone, so that our customers can utilize that to view their online, their usage, their on-time usage. They can also use it for leak alerts, and they can use it for paying their bills, which is really an important issue for us. We are in the process of really modernizing our customer service and trying to get more use out of alternative forms of payment other than standing in line and coming to the counter like old banking. So the more that we can develop these type of applications for folks to use, the better we're going to be. The program, and we used it as more of a test program, so we didn't publicize a lot of it because we wanted to see how it worked, we wanted to see how people reacted to it. It is really the only program that meshes with our automated metering infrastructure and our billing system. But if you look at the report, you'll see some of the results that we got, and you look at even the water conservation that we can attribute to this is 376 acre feet. That's 122 million gallons. But I think that last one is really interesting, where we found over 4,000 leaks that we were able to get people notified on. And I'll tell you, a lot of people will say these programs are worth their weight just in that. We did do a survey, because following up on this before we went further, it was a voluntary survey, and we had about a 25% response, but all of the responses we got were well over 85, 86, 87% on satisfaction with all of the various features. And I think I've mentioned before, we get a lot more of, we need more. We want more on the phone, more on our personal device that we can do and interact with the city. So this is a continuation of our modernization effort and a continuation of allowing our customers to be more hands-on involved in the management of their utility usage. We have a similar program in electric with O-Power, a different software provider. This is strictly for the water, but our residents and customers are becoming engaged on a real-time basis in managing their electric and water usage. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions. Let me add one thing. Cost-wise, it is relatively the same as the first 3 years. About on an average, we had a setup fee when we first started the previous contract, so the prices have held pretty well, even though we're adding to it. So, we're averaging. I think our 3-year average for the previous 3 years was $363. You see, we're $362 here, so we're right there.
I was going to ask you what's the yearly cost. So it's okay. All right. Questions, comments, Mr. Garpetti?
Yes, got a question about the reports that you get when you have a leak. I think every time we go on a vacation, I get a report that you're losing hundreds of gallons of water, and I send family members in there, and there are no leaks. So I called the city, and GWP sent an inspector to come and inspected the building and the house, and also inspected the meter. He said that meters are very sensitive.
Yes.
I think we need to, I don't know if this is possible or not, just a suggestion to, if we can adjust the sensitivity of these meters, because he said that even if there's no leak at all, and even if your water filter is working, it's going to send that message out. And it creates an issue when you're away. So I think this is something that we need to look into.
Do you keep track of those false positives?
Yes, and it is very sensitive. Part of that sensitivity is to make sure you don't have theft, believe it or not. So the tighter the meter, the fact that that people have been known to adjust their valves down to get the flow that doesn't register, and then actually accumulate the water. We have had people that do that.
Even with new meters?
Not with the new meters. No, the new meters have taken that away. But I will tell you that we are one of the few water agencies that have completely gone to automated meters in our system. So to answer your question, yeah, there's still some bugs we're working out. We've got some reporting issues and some reliability issues with the water meters that we don't have with the electric meters. So we'll certainly look at that. You're not the first person that's brought that up. I think my first reaction is I'd rather be safe than sorry, but when it becomes bothersome that you get called every single time you leave for a couple days, that can be a problem. But in those cases, we've also been able to find leaks. It may take us 2 or 3 times, but we've been able to find them, and so that's beneficial as well. So there's a balance there, but we'll certainly look at that, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Thank you.
Councilmember Najarian.
We sort of touched on it, Steve, but in what manner will GWP notify a customer that there's a leak detected? What's the official manner? And in other communities, we've seen scams where people from their water company say, we're here to check for a leak, or they get an email of some sort. What's the official manner of communication on this issue between GWP and our residents?
It's generally a phone call that we will make and identify ourselves, and then the individuals are allowed to either look for it or we will offer our assistance to come out. And as you know, we're all in uniforms or have identification. If anybody comes to your door and says, I'm with the city and I have a leak, we've detected a leak and we'd like to come in your house and check for it, that isn't good. And so it's a very prescribed process. We will give you the opportunity to try to find it yourself. And what we'll do is have alarms. So, and relatively, at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're using the relatively same amount of water that you were using at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we think you might have a problem. Generally, you should be asleep, and water you should be at its minimum. So we'll watch that alarm, and we'll notify that, or we will note that, and then we will get back to you and talk to you about that. But yeah, we do not just show up at your door, knocking on the door saying you have a leak. Just like we don't show up at your door to say, by the way, your payment's late, or we'd like to get a payment, or we can come in your house to take a look at your meter when the meter's outside. Those are all.
You saw that home. I mean, there was a
Absolutely.
surveillance video where 3 gentlemen dressed in apparently some city's uniform knocked on the door. You got a leak, and
yep, you're absolutely right, Mr. Najarian, and it unfortunately. Utility workers are what they often use as their guys to get in. So, our folks our residents and customers should be super cautious. And even if it is us and they don't feel comfortable, don't open the door, call us, and we'll verify.
I have one card, so I'll call that Chinook Ramirez.
Madam Mayor.
1 minute.
Thank you. I thought it was 3 minutes, but thank you very much. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Aram, the clerk, who so graciously went downstairs because it was a packed forum here. He went downstairs and asked me what exactly was the item that I was going to speak on. I mean, he's so detailed and so gracious. So I want to thank Mr. Aram. And I said it was number 8. So it was 8C1. I omitted the 8, so I apologize. Thank you for being so detailed. I admire that. Thank you very much. I wanted to inquire about the water conservation. Is the water better quality in Glendale than it is in Los Angeles? Or how would you rate the water in Glendale versus Los Angeles? And are there less microbes and bacteria in the water in Glendale as opposed to Los Angeles? And on an educational program, have we come up with an idea, because we've got such brilliant brains in America, is there another way of having water anywhere and everywhere without having to buy water at the stores every single day and carry that all around? God bless Donald Trump and God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Okay, I just want to say about the, I don't know, do we want to, that wasn't quite on the subject, on the agenda item. So I'll move on, and I have
the
met
best water in the world.
Yes, I know we do. We do, don't we? Better than bottled water. We do. And I know our test, and I know according to the testing, we are purified. So there aren't any reasons to be suspect of our water. I just want to say that I've talked to residents that are almost slaves to this. I mean, it's a challenge for them to look at how much water they've saved or they've used from day to day and which days they're using more or less. And so I think it's a great program. So I have no qualms about approving this item. Any other comments, or do I have a motion on the item?
I'll move the item.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Council members Garpetian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Sinanian,
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. Next item.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
members of council, before Mr. Kosaki reads the item, on item 8D, we're going to pull that item and bring it back next week.
Okay. All right. Then the next item is?
There are no other items. Next item is oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Council may question or respond to the speaker, but there'll be no debate or decision. City manager may refer the matter to the appropriate department for an investigation and report.
Thank you. Thank you. Mike Mulhill? Oh, you want to do it now? Okay.
really quickly,
Mike, just a second,
indulge me
please.
for-
Yes. Councilmember Sinanian has an announcement to make.
Yeah, short announcement I should have made during staff comments. But Sunday at 7 o'clock at Alex Theater, the Glendale Youth Orchestra is going to have a concert. I don't know why Ms. Biesmeyer is not here, but I figured since she's not, I should play that role. So 7 o'clock at the Alex, Glendale Youth Orchestra. The mayor is going to be there. I'm going to be there. And on the roster are excellent classical pieces. Please be there.
I'm going to be there too.
Oh, Mr. Councilmember Garpetian is going to be there.
Mr. Najarian, are you in?
I have a violin lesson that evening, actually.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
I'm training to be in the
To be
senior
in the
orchestra.
senior orchestra, okay. The symphony, maybe, huh? Okay, Mr. Mulhill, you're on, followed by Chinook Ramirez.
Good evening, Mayor Devine and council members. My name is Mike Mulhill. Was Councilman Najarian playing defensive football on behalf of our CalPERS union workforce when he 3 weeks ago was trying to persuade Councilman Garpetian and Zari Sinanian to move $24 million from the city's reserve account into an irrevocable trust account. In 2000, we had about $660 million in liquid cash in the city's reserve account. Today, after years of using the reserve account to pay for the bloated salaries and retirement pension benefits of our CalPERS union workforce, we only have an anemic $89 million left. The reserve account is the city's emergency fund that working families would put away for a rainy day. 3 weeks ago, our city manager suggested taking $24 million from our reserve account of $89 million and putting it into a very special, irrevocable trust for the upcoming CalPERS retirement pension crisis, Mr. Sinanian. In addition, our city manager suggested back on November 15, 2016, taking $39 million, which the city will be receiving over the next 3 to 5 years from the Demise Redevelopment Agency, and putting that money also into this very special, irrevocable trust fund. City Manager Ochoa also suggested going forward to reduce our reserve account from 30% down to 20% and taking the delta of 10% per year and putting that money into the very special irrevocable trust fund account. Why was Councilman Najarian pushing to put a total of $63 million of our taxpayers' money into this very special irrevocable trust fund account? Councilman Najarian, who always brags about having the very best employees that money can buy, has also received thousands of dollars over the years from the city employees' unions. Now, Mr. Najarian wants to protect his union supporters' retirement pensions in case the city has to file for bankruptcy protection. Yes, in case of bankruptcy protection, the city has one day to file for bankruptcy because our expenses are greater than our income. Yes, the outrageous salary and retirement pension benefits our city employees have been receiving over the years would be protected by Councilman Najarian desired irrevocable trust fund. Money which could not be touched by the creditors, mind you, if and when the city has to file for bankruptcy protection. Councilman Karpetin and Sinanian voted against Mr. Najarian's irrevocable trust fund, but Mayor Devine, who is also a strong CalPERS supporter, union supporter, voted along with Councilman Najarian. With the 4 votes split, Councilman Najarian suggested after the April election, the irrevocable trust fund issue be brought back to council again. If reelected, I can guarantee that Councilman Najarian will vote for this very special irrevocable trust fund. Thank you.
Madam
Yes.
Mayor, just briefly. Mr. Mohel, I really think that if you sat down and understood what that trust was all about, that you would be in favor for it. In fact, I will invite you at your convenience to call the management office, and I will sit down with you, perhaps with someone from the city manager's office, maybe, should they be so willing to explain this to you. I still stand by my comments that it's a good deal for the city, in which we'll be receiving a much higher rate of return than we could otherwise do so. So the invitation is for you, Mr. Mohel.
Probably just one clarification. I think
Yes.
Mr. Mohill is confusing the city's overall portfolio amount and the city's general fund reserve. I don't know that we've ever had a general fund reserve of $600 million. That's just a little bit on the wacky side. So, I think he's confusing his numbers again.
Okay. Chinook Ramirez.
Thank you very much. I wanted to read this last week, but I had other priorities. The United States Postal Service and postal offices should be ashamed of hiring criminal illegal felons and gangbangers. I have not yet received my mail in about 4 months. Not one shred of mail. I had a P.O. box located at 106.5 Judge John Iso Street, number 207 in Los Angeles, California, 90012 for several years. And within the last 2 years, I started having problems with my mail being tampered, stolen mail, delayed mail, returned mail, and packages, and or not receiving mail at all. I then called the postal inspectors all over, and the ones in Glendale as well, and to no avail. I then decided to change my mailing address because the staff was not helpful either. Again, the gang stalkers were at work behind closed doors. So I decided to call the United States Postal Investigators at several telephone numbers that they gave me, and again, to no avail. Then about December 2016, I went to the mail sorting hub in Los Angeles called the Alameda Carrier Annex at 1055 North Vignes Street, Los Angeles, California, 90012, near Chinatown. I spoke to these Latino employees who couldn't speak English, i.e. Carmen, Juan, and Pedro, on 3 separate occasions. I asked them if they could hold my mail or where my mail had been. They had no clue. Incidentally, I didn't trust any of them. I then quickly got a new mailing address at 3200 Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90010. So to be on the safe side, I decided to go to the city of Glendale post office located on Broadway, not too far from here. So on February the 3rd, 2017, I sent a certified letter and several letters with certificate of mailing from Safe City Glendale. And as of February 28th, 2017, I have yet to receive the signed card for the registered letter or anything. Moreover, I'm disappointed because I did not get to vote because I had not received any of my mail or cards and where to go vote. I'm disappointed, but I would not have voted for Garcetti. He's defunct. And on a positive and vivacious note, President Donald Trump, El Jefe, who is the great Moses and defender of life, liberty, justice, and freedom for his neglected Americans and beloved military, President Trump, El Jefe, has politically, legally, and physically triumphed over all the wicked politicals, globalists, and the Hungarian Jew, George Soros, who has caused the collapse collapse of foreign countries, thereby creating a mass refugee problem worldwide. That's a shame. Donald Trump has sworn to defend the United States Constitution and not pervert the rule of law, as Abraham Lincoln admonished us. Thus, massive deportation against all heinous and diabolical and violent Latino gangbangers and criminal illegal felons at full throttle, along with a concrete travel ban. Bravo! Thank you, ICE, for your hard work and commitment to protect America's democratic sovereignty from these domestic and international terrorists, and for enforcing the rule of law. Finally, bravo! And we fought so hard for you, Donald Trump, while being homeless. Thank you. The universe is gracious. Thank you, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and Jeff Sessions, and your entire cabinet for putting America first and reinstating Americans and our beloved military back to their rightful station in life. Moreover, thank you for stripping all federally funded monies and grants and benefits, bitcoins, and anything else from all these cities who themselves declare themselves as safe haven sanctuary cities and harbor fugitives. Lastly, thank you for sanctioning and imprisoning mayors and politicals and public servants who defy our commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, and our Constitution, i.e. Governor Jerry Brown, Chuck Smith, Eric Garcetti, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and all the Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. They will be going to Guantanamo. And God bless Donald Trump. God bless that man, for he fought so hard, was detailed enough to make it all the way to the White House. A man who believes in right and wrong and isn't going to be a butt kisser. The man has balls and masculinity, and he's brought it back to America. So no more pussies in America. God bless America. I'm sorry. That is my language, and that's the way, again, under the First Amendment, I respect where I come from. I fight, and I lived on the streets. I've earned it. I think I have. And that's not a bad word at all. In my world, where I come from, a man is known by his balls. And that's in Mexico. Yeah.
Thank you.
God bless America. Donald Trump. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. My daughter watches these programs, the city council meetings.
Yeah.
Is there?
Well, have her not watch my segment.
Oh my goodness.
I don't have a problem with that. This is America. America.
We try to have some decorum in the.
I have a lot of decorum, but I also have a lot of spirit.
Well, I hope that you would have respect for other people and not use that language. Next item, please, Mr.
Madam Mayor, fortunately, there is no other items on this agenda except for any new business and a motion to adjourn, which will happen.
We don't have any new business.
No, there is no
motion
new
to adjourn
business.
in memory of James Bishop. Is there a motion?
I would like to move that we adjourn in the memory of James Bishop.
We are adjourned, 7:31.